Hello and welcome to episode 275 of the Wisdom and the Tangents podcast. I'm your host, John Mansfield. If you're new around here, welcome. Thanks for being here. I am a wedding and commercial photographer based just outside of Houston, Texas. And I'm also a business coach. And I help people like yourself, creative entrepreneurs, to build your business, grow your community, and create the lifestyle that you've always dreamed of. Part of that is this podcast. And today, we're actually doing something that we do over on Patreon every month. I sit down and answer your questions. So it's something that I like to call Ask Away, where you just get to ask away anything that you want to know, anything that's been on your mind, any business-related questions, photography-related questions. If you're just wondering what I'm watching these days and what I'm loving, you can ask those questions. And we had a good mixture of all of that for last month's Ask Away in February. So I'm going to be playing that recording for y'all. If you are watching this the week that it comes out in March, on March 27th, you can join us for the March Ask Away. On Patreon, it is available to the free tier as well. So if you're like, I don't know if I want to give you money yet, you don't have to. You can do this for free. You can send in your questions. But yeah, on March 27th, which is a Friday at 11 a.m. Central, I'm going to be going live and answering your questions. If you can't make it live, you can always submit a question early by shooting me a DM or commenting on the Ask Away post on social or Patreon. But yeah, let's get into last month's Ask Away in February. Welcome to the February Ask Away. I'm here to answer your questions. This is just a time where you can ask anything and everything, business related, photography, whatever you're curious about. And I'm just gonna answer some questions. I did ask on Instagram, and y'all sent a lot of questions. So I will be going through those, but also if you are watching live on Patreon right now, your questions are going to be priority. Yeah. So if you ask any questions live, then I will answer those live off the dome as it is. Oh, I think I was holding my breath while I was trying to get all the technical things together to where I didn't have that echo going on. And then watch this have an echo whenever I listen back to it. I'm so sorry if it does. But yeah, let's get into some questions. I got a question from Lori asking, when are we going to work together again? That's great. Great question, Lori. I would love to work together again. And you are currently in Hawaii. So talk to some couples out there. Book me a wedding with you. Anyone who has hired you for video out there, just be like, hey, I've got this photographer friend. He's amazing. You should hire him. And then I will fly out there anytime to photograph a wedding in Hawaii, or we can work together back here in the contiguous 48. I think that's how you say it. I think I've mostly only ever seen that word and not heard it. But yeah, love to work together again. Another question we have from Jamie. Jamie asked, did you spill your coffee today? No. Today was a good day. Today, I made less. I don't think I filled up my French press quite as much as I normally do. I was very distracted. I was making coffee while I was also trying to get all three kids dressed, fed, and ready to go to school this morning. So yeah, we were doing our best. We did our best. And I made a little bit less coffee than I normally do. It was less than 2 cups. But I didn't spill a single drop, Jamie. So thanks for that question. I also got a question from Ariel. Also, last ask away, I mentioned that I had certain brand of coffee and I couldn't remember what it was. I think I put it in the show notes from whenever I released that to the main feed. But it's called Culture. Nope. It's called Counterculture. It's called Counterculture. And I don't know. It's like a light blue bag. They have different colored bags. It's the light blue. It's the light blue one. I think it's called Freedom. That doesn't sound right. Freedom? Something. I don't know. It was a gift. It was good. I finished the whole bag. But now I'm back to drinking my HEB Cafe au lait. It's delicious Houston blend roast where they roast the beans with coconut shreds, and it really takes the acidity out of it, and it is just the most delicious coffee I've ever had. Maybe not the most delicious, but it is the most delicious for local roasters in the States that I have had, and it's really good. So, you should try that out if you're near an HEB. And if you're not, like I sent my friend Amanda some, because I talked about it so much on Instagram, that my friend Amanda, who is a wedding planner out in California, was like, I need to try this coffee. So I bought her a small bag and then shipped it out there, and she loved it. So if you want some, if you want a taster, I might ship you one. We'll see how much shipping is these days. But yeah, let's get on to the next question. Ariel asked, any tips you ever give to couples based on when you got married or your experience being married? Great question. Yes. I'm going to answer this a couple different ways. So kind of like experience being married. This is something that I started off from the very beginning. So on my wedding day, we had like the little cards that people, the guests can fill out, where it's just like, put a note in here for the couple or give them some fun advice or whatever. And some of them were just like, never go to bed mad, and, always make breakfast in bed on Saturdays or something. Excuse me. Whew. I almost sneezed. But one of them was, and I believe it was from my wife's uncle, which, thanks for this, because it has been like the pillar of our marriage, a pillar for sure, for the last 13 years. But it said, to always believe the best in each other. And that has been something that we have done over and over again, that if one of us says something that the other one is just like, well, that was really hurtful, I can't believe that they would say that. And like, you start like internalizing what they were saying, and you're like, they totally meant to hurt me with that, and I can't believe that. And then you like go back and go to hurt them. We always believe the best in each other. So if I say something and then my wife's like, that felt hurtful, we will talk and we play a game called, this is what you said, this is what I heard, is this what you meant? So we'll say like, hey, you said this is what I heard whenever you said that. Like, this is how I took it in. That's what it meant to me. Is that what you meant? And most of the time it was like, no, that's not what I meant. I'm so sorry. Like, I did not mean it that way. Some of the times it's like, that is what I meant. I am so sorry. Like, I shouldn't have said that. I was speaking out of anger or frustration or whatever. And just like that game of, this is what you said, this is what I heard, is that what you meant? And just the mindset of always believing the best in each other has kept us with really open communication through our whole marriage, and made us like a safe place for each of us to go to. So I always I do handwritten notes to all of my couples after their wedding, and I'll tell them that, not in that many words because that's like a 4-pager right there, but I'll tell them to always believe the best in each other, and to remember that they are a team. They're not against each other. It's not like, hey, I need, whatever, I need to go out and do this thing, or I need this, you need that. We're keeping tallies on how many times you run the dishes and that kind of stuff. It's like, we are a team and we're doing this together to move forward together. Have you ever learned something that you feel like you learned way too late in life? I feel like that guy from Instagram who's like, here's something I didn't know until my 30s, because here is something I didn't know until I was in my 30s. Your savings account can actually make you money. And I'm not talking about like traditional savings accounts that are making you like 0.01 to 0.3% interest, just pennies. That's pennies, people. I'm talking 1.5 to over 4% interest. It doesn't sound like much, but if you're talking numbers, let's say you have like $5,000 in your savings account for taxes at the end of the year, that's the difference between accruing $15 and $200 extra dollars. Now, this is a high yield savings account. I've talked about these a few times on the podcast, but now I have partnered with SoFi to bring you a little extra money. Whenever you start your free high yield savings account through SoFi, they will deposit an extra $25 in there for you for free. That's literally free money. And yes, this high yield savings account is just like a normal savings account where you can access your money. You don't have to like wait for 7 to 10 business days until you can get anything out. It's a normal savings account, except you're making more money. So go to allheartphoto.com/SoFi. That's allheartphoto.com/SOFI and let your money make you money. So that's what I give my couples based on my experience being married. But also I tell them, as they're planning their wedding, I'm like, most of the couples that hire me, or at least like talk to me, the leads, whenever we're on Zoom calls and all of that, they're looking for candid, carefree photos. They're seeing the Pinteresty, walking arm in arm, laughing at each other, tie untied, jacket over the shoulder, she's holding her shoes, whatever. They're seeing all of these on Pinterest. They're loving all of the candid, real life feel of a lot of celebrity weddings. And then they're just like, we want a candid, like, documentary photographer. So I always talk to them and make sure that they know what documentary is and what candid is. And also that a lot of the candid, quote unquote, documentary photos that they're seeing out there are not candid. They are prompted. They are posed. They aren't so much posed of like, stand here, do this, now laugh at each other, now look in each other's eyes. But they're more of like creating a space and creating an area that's the same as a space, I guess, but creating an environment, which is also very similar to an area and a space, but creating an environment where you feel comfortable. That's what you need is a photographer who can create an environment to where you feel comfortable to be yourselves, and then have these prompts and these little micro poses to really bring out your personality. So that's what I tell them to help give them that advice for whether they choose me or they go with someone else. They at least have that knowledge. And I also try and convey that through social media, my website, and all of that too. But that is something that, especially over the last 6 months, I have been talking about a lot. Let's see. Next question, after a brief water intermission. Do you like this branded tumbler? It's also glow in the dark. but a past couple, they make these, and they made this for me after their wedding. No, they had it for me at their wedding, which was really cool. And it was already filled with water, which I was very grateful for. Shout out Laura and, oh no, I want to say Eric. I don't think it's Eric. You're not Eric. Caleb. Laura and Caleb. Look at that. That was like 5 or 6 years ago. Just pulled that right out of there. Next question. Caitlin asks, how do you handle ridiculous requests from wedding guests and family? I tell them, especially if they're just like, you know what, you should do this thing, or it would be amazing if you did whatever. Most of the ridiculous requests that I get are either from like mother of, bride or groom, or an aunt, sometimes a bridesmaid who is just very excited for the couple and loves a certain photo that they saw on Pinterest. And they're just like, if you could do this, like, this would be really cool. We should set this up. And a lot of times I will just remind them that, that sounds cool. I'm here for the couple. Right now we're doing X, whatever it is. A lot of times this is like during family photos or maybe during their couples portraits. If it is a small venue and we don't have a lot of area and there are guests around us as we're doing their couples portraits, sometimes you do get the, oh, you know what you should do? You should turn and you should do like a prom pose. It's really sweet if you just close your eyes and like put your foreheads together. Do that. I'll be like, ooh, cool call. We're going to finish what we're doing right now. If we do have time, I will keep that in mind and do that later. But it's kind of a little patronizing of just like patronizing. I always get those confused. Patronizing is being a patron and buying something from someone. So I'm not buying anything from them, but I'm just giving them a little, not shooting them down of like, that's a terrible thing. I'm not going to do that. You're not the photographer. I have been there at weddings where the photographer does that and says stuff like, no, not today. You're not the one that they hired. So they hired me. I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And that is it's too brash for me. So I'll tell them that, that is an option. And I'll keep that in mind. We're going to finish out what we have pre-planned right now. And then maybe bring that in a little bit. Or if you want to grab us during the reception, we could do whatever picture that is. So yeah, that's how I handle it. Just kind of move them along and get back to what we were doing. But yeah, it's usually during that point. Sometimes it's during the like getting ready portion of the day where they're just like, I really want to get one of just like her reaching for her dress, but then looking at the camera and it's just like hanging down from the window. I'm like, this looks superposed and super, I don't know, just like a 1990s kind of like, all right, now reach, but then look. It's like, it could be candid. It could look candid. And I have done that before where I'm just like, hey, your dress is hanging over here. Do you mind go ahead and grab that? And then while they're going to grab it to actually bring it down, snap a couple of photos, and then that's good. We're good. We can move on. Next question. We got a couple this or that questions, so I'm going to do those. Crystal asked, Disney or Universal? Okay. So one thing, I have been to Universal multiple times. I have never been to Disney. I was sheltered as a kid from Disney. It was like we're not watching Disney movies. They're all about princesses and princes coming to kiss them. And we don't want you to think about kissing. So we did not watch hardly any Disney movies. There was also a lot of midriff in the 90s. Jasmine, Ariel. My parents were like, nope, belly buttons. We're not doing that. So I never really was a Disney kid. Not a Disney adult. I'm a little bit more of a Disney adult than I was as a kid because we watch a lot of Disney movies with our kids. And also my wife is a Disney adult. So I do like Disney, but I love Universal. I believe, isn't Universal? I'm pretty sure, maybe I should have looked this up. I'm pretty sure that Universal Studios has like Diagon Alley, Harry Potter. Yes, because that's where I went. Yes. Okay. So definitely Universal because that was really fun. I also went to Universal when I was a teenager and that was cool. I rode on the Hulk ride and I don't really remember much else. There were a couple rides. There was some fun stuff. This was before Star Wars. This was before Harry Potter. I don't really know what we did there. What else did they have there? I don't know. I found an old floppy disk for an old, very old computer that was labeled Universal Studio Vacation. So though that like 2 gigabyte, maybe probably less than that, probably 128 meg floppy disk has some photos from there. So if I can figure out how to read a floppy disk, I will post some of those whenever this hits the mainstream. But yeah, more Universal than Disney, but I do like some Disney. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, Diagon Alley was so much fun. If you're at all a Harry Potter fan, you should definitely go because they did a really great job of making it look like the movie. Another this or that question, Schitt's Creek or The Office? So another thing, just like I have been to Universal Studios and I have never been to Disney, I have watched every episode of The Office and I have not seen a single episode of Schitt's Creek. I know that I have referenced it multiple times on the podcast. I know that I have made like there are certain Schitt's Creek quotes that I say, but I've never seen an episode. I've heard that it's good. When it came out, it just, I think I probably watched the pilot. I probably watched the first episode and I was like, it's just not for me right now. I think I was probably in a dark place at that point. I also go through phases. So like also when Parks and Rec first came out, didn't want to watch that because I felt like it was way too much like The Office. And now I love Parks and Rec and have seen every episode multiple times. But yeah, definitely The Office. I've got a lot of, well, they're not any, oh, they're on the back of my laptop here. But I have like some different Office. I have like Froggy 101 sticker on my laptop, which was fun. I was at a wedding expo about a month and a half ago, and a bride came around and was just like, is this Froggy 101 from The Office? And I was like, it is, because I had like a slideshow going. And she was like, that is so great. And then we just talked about The Office, and then they ended up booking a wedding with me. So let your personality out, and it'll connect with people. But yeah, I'm more The Office. I like the early seasons for sure. The later ones also have some good episodes. But yeah, like that second and third season, it's just almost every single episode is so good. Okay, we're coming up on 30 minutes. I'm going to try and get a couple more of these. There were like 20 questions that y'all sent in. So if I don't get it to it now, I will roll them over to next time, or maybe answer these in my stories. I don't know. Let's see. Another question. Ooh, okay. This is a good one. This is going back to photography. And also she said this is today. So it says continuous light or flash, or versus flash. What are my thoughts? I'm doing a bridal shoot Friday, which is today. Gonna try some continuous light. That's cool. I like both. I'm definitely more of a flash Persian. I'm not Persian though. I'm definitely more of a flash Persian than I am continuous light, because flash, you have more power, and you can like really set a scene and do some creative stuff with it. Continuous light is also very cool. I've done some shutter drag stuff with continuous light, like using flashlights, or using, like, I have one of these little aperture cube things that, there we go, don't fall over. But like, you can have someone walking and just like keeping that light on them as they're going, and it just kind of like makes a trail like a ghost, and that looks really cool. I do love mounting the aperture cube on my camera, or just holding it in my hand on the dance floor and getting those kind of shots. Just cranking it all the way up to 100, just 100%. I don't want to do that the whole time, because it does take from the ambiance. But if it's just like everyone's dancing, everyone, lights are flashing and all that kind of stuff, I will just set my settings for the ambient light, so we can still get that in, and then put my cube at whatever power works well, which is usually around like 80 to 100%, because it's not super bright. Again, flash is going to be much brighter than continuous light, because you can do that quick pop of light at a lot more power than continued light the whole time. But yeah, doing that on the dance floor is fun. It gives that kind of like that paparazzi type feel of like just that light just hitting kind of the center. You got that vignette of the darkness, just because it's not really hitting. So like the people 2 or 3 people down, they're kind of like faded to black. The sides are a little bit kind of faded to black. It's mostly just the center, and it really helps to bring the focus into whatever you're doing. That's fun. Doing portraits like a bridal shoot, I could definitely see, like with some long exposure stuff, I would say try that out. Bring a tripod with you. Do like a quick little, maybe 4-second exposure or something. Shoot it up to like f8. That way you're not getting a lot of the ambient light overpowering stuff, and then you can just like follow them with that continuous light. But also I've done this more of with flash, but like on a dreary, hazy day, like today, it's dark outside. It's a bunch of clouds. We have a storm coming in this weekend. But I will, if it's just kind of like a dreary day, sometimes that even lighting is great, and we can do some fun stuff with that. But then sometimes I'll put a flash up on a light stand, and shoot through some trees, put like a half CTO gel or a full CTO gel on there. That way it's just like orange light coming in through the trees, and it looks like the sunset. I also did that with a couple where they wanted some sunset photos, but again, I think it was like December. Or wait, no, they got married in December. I think we did their engagement photos in November. again, not important right now, but it was jury day, and they wanted some sort of sunset photos. So we did that through some trees, and then I also set that light stand up outside the window. I'm gesturing like off frame here. I'll keep my hand to where you can see it. But we set it up outside the window so that it would shine through the window. And then I set them just like laying down, just kind of like sitting propped up, backs against the wall, just like chilling. And then it was like that golden light coming in through the window pane, and it looked really cool. So you can do that with some continuous light too. Continuous light's going to be a little bit easier to gauge with your camera, because you can just have it on. It's kind of like a modeling light on a speed light. It's just going to be on the entire time, and then you can fix your settings to whatever that is. But yeah, I'm team flash over continuous if I had to choose between the two. But you can get creative with both and bring some different gels and stuff. This could be fun. But I like this aperture cube because you can change the temperature. This is my thumb changing the temperature on the little dial. But yeah, you can change the temperature. What is it? Kelvin, like the Kelvin temp of the light. So you can also match different lighting, which is great because I have it matching. My main light over here is the same Kelvin temperature as over here, which is great for continuity. But yeah, both are fun. Both are fun. I'm excited to see what you do, obviously, after the wedding has happened, whenever you share them. But let me know. Let me know what you do. Thanks again for everyone sending in those questions. I will get to more next time, I'm sure. But yeah, that's I really enjoy this. This is fun. We'll be doing this again next month. We're doing Askaways every month. So if you did not get in today and you're watching the replay, or you're listening to this on the main feed, then join us again for the next one. I'm sure if you're listening on the main feed, I'm about to tell you when that date is. So listen up to future John telling you that in just a minute. But thanks again for everyone tuning in. I realized that like on my solo shows, I never talk about what I'm loving this week. So I want to talk about what I'm loving this week because I feel like I haven't done that in a while. It's been a minute since I've had a guest episode that we've recorded, at least, because we recorded a bunch before the end of the year and then just really haven't since then because they've been coming out. So let me pull up my whole what I'm loving this week. Ooh, okay. I'm not loving it this week, but I did love it a couple of months ago whenever I watched it. I talked about this a couple times, how we didn't have Netflix for a couple years because we just like didn't want it. But we're back. We're back on the Netflix train. And I watched the Fall of the House of Usher. If you like kind of, I wouldn't say it was creepy. It was in the same vein as the Haunting of Hill House, or the Haunting of Bly Manor, which are the same or connected. It's similar to that, but less horror-esque, I guess. Well, no, now I'm thinking of some different scenes. So it's pretty similar. But it was an interesting story about a family and just the fall of their family and how they had made some deals and how they were giving into certain things. And it was very interesting. I don't remember any of the actors' names, but it was a good cast. I really enjoyed the show. So if you did like The Haunting at Hill House and you're like, man, I wish they had other things like this, definitely check out that on Netflix. So yeah, I got to tell you what I was loving this week. I would love to hear what you're loving this week. Whenever you hear this, just either drop it in the chat or shoot me a DM on Instagram, wit.pod, WIATT.pod. And yeah, we can chat about shows and movies and new foods and things. But anyway, y'all have a great week. Keep creating and keep making the world a better place. Bye, y'all. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Wisdom in the Tangents podcast. As I mentioned at the top of the show, you can join us for the next Ask Away on Patreon this Friday. If you're listening to this the week that it comes out, March 27th, 11 a.m. Central, is our next Ask Away. Submit your questions. I will try and get to them. We had a lot of submissions last week, so I'm going to try and get to some of those, but then also whatever else comes in this time. But yeah, join us over there. It is available for the free tier on Patreon. And then we have a lot of extra stuff, website critiques and portfolio reviews and breakdowns of images. I also did a recent double exposure tutorial that I thought was really great, and I've heard it was really helpful for people wanting to get into double exposures. So that is all available on Patreon for a paid tier, and you can get, I think it's a week free. A free trial if you want to check it out. But it's a great way to support the show and to help this keep coming along and to pay for my coffee addiction. I will see y'all next week or next episode. I've got a really great interview coming in for the next episode. Until then, keep creating and keep making the world a better place. Bye, y'all.